Hello, I'm Amy Harbison. Welcome to Seniors Today, a monthly program produced by the Commission on Aging devoted entirely to issues and interests of Montgomery County seniors. This month, we learn about Roundhouse Theater's upcoming season and recent renovation, and we'll learn how you can volunteer to help two local programs that provide free tax services to people with low or moderate income. But first, I'm very pleased to welcome Montgomery County Executive Marc Elrich. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, we're in month 9 of your first year of this administration. So can you take a deep breath with us for a minute and just, what are you most proud of so far in your administration and what you've been working on?
I was really happy with the early child care initiative, early childhood education, that we were actually able to make a concrete step forward despite very, very limited resources. So that felt really good.
Yes.
I think starting to do the racial equity work, which is something we promised people we would do, we've started down that path, and I think that's another important thing that will, over the long term, become transformative. It's something where people are going to have to learn about it and understand, but we really are trying to educate and help the population in general be more sensitive and aware of issues that we kind of don't always frontally address. And so I think that's important work to do. And generally, I feel that we're working on, we use the phrase turning the curve, but really getting our staff to dig deeper into the work they do and finding ways to do it more efficiently. I'm pretty driven by economic reality. We've seen projections going out. Even when we extend the projections out 10 years, there's like no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And so one of the things that's really clear that we may look stable, but stable means no improvements.
Right.
So if people need additional services or want us to do more things inside a stable revenue base, that becomes difficult.
Right.
Which means that we need to be, as diligent as we can be about carving out space within the existing budget. And I don't think of it in terms of cutting programs, but I think of figuring out how do we do things and deliver services more effectively and efficiently so that we can add additional things without necessarily having to add additional costs.
Sure. So we're talking about effective and efficient, but we're also talking about more inclusive.
Yeah.
I know that on the website there's a wonderful vision statement that includes some language about the county being a place where all residents can pursue their dreams regardless of age or economic circumstances. So beyond what we already have in place for our aging population, what is your vision to create a more inclusive world for older adults in the county?
So we know older adults face a variety of challenges. Probably number one is employment for people who still seek to be employed. And certainly the economic realities of the world have had people working much longer than we used to think was going to happen. I mean, when I grew up, my generation was like, we're all retiring when we're 65. Not so much anymore. Right. And in a world of changing jobs, some jobs disappear, new jobs get created. They don't necessarily match the skills or talents of older residents. And there certainly appears to be, just in society in general, I'm not going to single out Montgomery County, but an inherent age discrimination. I talk to lots of people who are perfectly coherent, perfectly mobile, and have high levels of skills and have had professional careers, and they can't find work.
Right.
And it's not like their skills aren't useful and needed, but there's a feeling that I could bring in a younger person, why bring in an older person? So one of the things we have to make people more aware of and help combat is this notion that you're too old to work. So that to me is really important. I think affordable housing for seniors is a big issue, and it is not as simple as you're going to sell your house and buy an apartment, in the new developments, because oftentimes, you have no mortgage on your house, and what you would sell your house for would not pay for the new apartment. So you're actually, some people just look at the two numbers and it's like, well, you'll be able to sell it and buy something, but if you don't have a mortgage on that $500,000 house, if you have to take on a mortgage, this is actually an additional expense at a time in your life when you're trying to shed expenses.
Sure.
Because your income is not
Of course.
the income of the fully employed. So that's a big issue.
So what can we do? What can we do particularly on this inclusivity to change this, the perception of aging, since it's so clear that we're going to have a large population of older people who are living longer and needing to work longer. Is the county looking to be on the forefront of creating that kind of multi-generational workforce that the whole country needs to be creating?
Look, I think we've got to look when we hire for people who have the skills, and I would hope that I would not find age discrimination, but absent a real study of who applies and who gets hired, we're not going to know that. But I think we need to be conscious about decisions we make. We need to talk about this so that cognizance of this as an issue becomes generalized, and that employers, realize this is really something that all of us have a stake in. I think that, we need to look for opportunities as we create jobs, even volunteer experiences for people. A lot of people want to do something, not necessarily for money, but they just want to do something, that we're able to plug those folks into opportunities. And so we've got the volunteer center under the Telio. So we're trying to match people up. We just need to do everything we can to be visible about this. And so my hope is that we'll be visible, we'll talk about it, we'll encourage it, and we'll practice it.
Terrific. That's what
which is a more complete picture.
That's really great. We also have a county that has some transportation hurdles, and I know transportation is important to you. It's also important to seniors because social isolation is such a concern. What are some of the initiatives that we're going to be seeing on the transportation front?
I mean, it's funny you talk about social isolation. I have 2 emails in the last week from people talking about social isolation and wanting to raise that to a higher profile. And this truly is an issue in the senior community, because when you're in a house, like I think of my old neighborhood, and everybody went to work, and so there was nobody in those houses during the day.
Right.
But as seniors age in place, neighborhoods that used to be empty by day and full at night, well, they're still there in that neighborhood, and their friends aren't there. And so making sure that people have access to our programming for seniors, and as you mentioned, transportation. We're starting an experimental program. We've done it, I guess it's a pilot program. It's the Ride On Flex.
Yes.
And it's, right now it's the 2-mile radius around parts of Rockville and Glenmont and Wheaton. And it enables people to call and arrange a pickup, and the small bus comes into your neighborhood, and you give them your location, and they tell you to walk down to this street. And so within a very short walk, you can go and get a bus. You don't have to wait at the bus stop. You don't have to hope the bus is coming. You've made an appointment for the bus to arrive there.
Right.
And that should help, because it is hard enough with mobility issues that to have people right now have to go to a bus stop and wait, and sometimes wait even more.
Yes.
Is difficult. And since our bus network doesn't really penetrate deeply into neighborhoods, which is just a reality of not having boatloads of money, people have to walk to the nearest bus stop. So being able to bring transportation to them, we think will make it easier for people to get out.
So this pilot really can work wonders. I have one last question for you. you've been a resident of Montgomery County forever and a day. So what is it that makes this county so special in your mind?
I moved here in 1960, winter of 59-60. And, the earliest issues I saw in Montgomery County was how we handled integration of schools versus how some other jurisdictions handled it. And it's not like there weren't people who were upset, but the overwhelming decision of the county was to move forward on integration. And instead of doing some of the things that other jurisdictions did, which actually antagonized the population against efforts to integrate the schools, Montgomery County didn't do that. And so from day one, my experiences, and I was 11 years old when I moved here, but unfortunately far too aware of social issues for my age. The way we handled that, I think, made an enormous difference. And so you take, the clock forward, and, we've been in front of social issues for a long time. We've tried to tackle senior issues. We've tackled immigration and integrating people into society. You see some of this bubbling up now, but we've decided that, the shortest path to having a successful population is the full integration and education of the people who've come here, not denying them and locking them out the door and trying to limit what they get, but making sure that you're able to take advantage of what we can do here so they become fully productive, have the opportunities everybody else has. So I see us as, we've been leaders in the environment in a lot of ways. If you think about important issues, we've been there. We did the minimum wage law. We were one of the leaders in the country in getting to a $15 minimum wage, which barely is enough even in the context of what it costs to live in Montgomery County. So I feel that, the place is special because we've been able to handle a changing population and changing needs with an open mind and an open heart. And you don't always get everything right, and you don't do everything you want to do, and sometimes you can't do everything you should do. But the question is always, how can we do a better job? And I feel like I've come in a tradition of leadership that goes back a while that has tried to make Montgomery County more responsive and more inclusive. Not every community can say that's their goal.
That's absolutely true. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for helping to create this inclusive community. We look forward to more of your administration.
Thank you.
When we return, we meet Roundhouse Theater's artistic director, Ryan Rilette. Stay tuned.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going. Recycle more now.
Introducing Ride on Flex, Montgomery County Department of Transportation's new on-demand transit service to help you get around in defined Rockville and Glenmont-Wheaton zones. Download the Ride on Flex app to book your ride. No fixed stops or fixed schedules. The Flex comes when you book. New 11-passenger buses are wheelchair accessible and have free Wi-Fi. And you ride for $2 or less. Visit rideonflex.com for service areas and hours of operation.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. Roundhouse Theater's mission is to produce stories that inspire compassion, evoke emotions, and demand conversation. Roundhouse is a home for outstanding ensemble acting and lifelong learning. I'm pleased to welcome Artistic Director Ryan Rilette. Ryan, how are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, a lot of exciting things happening for you all right now. You recently had a major renovation of your space and just opened up to the public for an open house. Tell us about what's new at the theater.
Almost everything is new. I mean, we did a $9 million interior renovation of the theater. So when you come up to the theater, you won't notice a huge difference on the outside. There's some new signage, but there's not a major change to the outside. The interior of the theater, though, is completely changed. The couple of major things that we were trying to accomplish, the acoustics in that space were just never really good, and it was because the volume of the space was too great. And so we actually shrunk everything a little bit. We still have 350 seats, it's still quite a large theater, but when you come in, you're gonna feel that it is much more intimate than it's ever been before. And it's a beautiful design by Charcoal Blue, which is one of the leading theater planners in the world. They do things like the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Theater and Steppenwolf's new space. So we're really, really pleased with the way it turned out.
That's fabulous.
And the acoustics in there are really have gone from being poor to phenomenal. It is fantastic. And then in the lobby, we've really transformed the whole lobby as well into a place that now has a full bar and cafe. You can come in early and have a full meal. You can stick around late and have conversations with people. So it's a completely different experience than what it was before.
That's wonderful. That really makes people feel like they're going to a destination for a full evening.
That's the idea.
That's wonderful. So you just are about to start your season, and tell us what you have in store for us. It's a little bit of everything, a little bit of musicals, some newer plays.
Yeah, so we start the season with Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play, and that's what's running right now, and it's running through the middle of the month. Schoolgirls is a big off-Broadway hit comedy. It is as it sounds. It is sort of referencing Mean Girls. It is not like Mean Girls, but it's about girls in high school in Ghana in 1986.
Right.
Incredibly funny, incredibly touching piece, very much about beauty standards and the way that they infect the entire world. And so we start the season with that. We move on to Curious Incident, or The Dog in the Nighttime, Tony Award-winning play. That's one that I'm directing. Then we do a musical, Spring Awakening, big hit Broadway musical that we're reviving. And then we do one that I'm really, really excited about. It's another one that I'm directing. It's Cost of Living by Martina Mayogue. Cost of Living won the Pulitzer Prize 2 years ago. Martina is a playwright that we actually gave her very first regional LORT production was at Roundhouse a couple of years ago with her play Ironbound, which went on to win the Helen Hayes Award for Outstanding New Play. This was her second play, and it won her the Pulitzer Prize. Wow. And it deals with people with disabilities and their care workers. And then we end the season with 2 plays in rotating repertory. Big Love by Chuck Mead, which is a play that is based on a Greek play about cousins who are married to each other, 50 cousins who are married to their cousins. And in this play, Chuck has sort of turned it on his head and made it be about the women escaping the men as refugees.
Right.
And then the other play, it's another love story. It has a title that I can't pronounce on the air, Hate F, I will say. And it's about 2 Muslim writers, one who has gotten very successful trading on stereotypes of Muslim terrorists, and another who is a literary critic, who hate each other so much that they fall into mad, passionate love.
I love it. What a mix. That's great. I know we're running short on time. I wanted to ask you about this wonderful series you have for 55 plus folks who want to take some classes with you. What's that about?
Yeah, so we have classes for older active adults. Right now, we have a class this fall in playwriting. We will have a class in January, February that is about play reading and analysis. And then at the end of the year, we have a scene study class. It's a great program for people who want to learn more about the art form that they love, who've always wanted to act or who acted in high school and haven't had the chance to come back and do it again.
Wow.
And more importantly, it's just a great way to meet like-minded people who love the art form and to make new friends. It's a really phenomenal group. They all become great friends and come and see all of our shows.
That's really great. Tell us about the best way for people to learn more, either about your education programs or about subscribing this year.
So we just launched a brand new website, roundhousetheater.org. On that website, it is a fully comprehensive site that can tell you anything and everything that you ever wanted to know about Roundhouse, including discounts on tickets, buying tickets for different shows, buying subscriptions, taking any classes, the programs that we do in schools. So I encourage everybody to check that out.
Wonderful. And is there, what's the box office number for people to reach you?
240-644-1100.
Okay.
We'll have to check. You should check that.
But roundhousetheater.org is the website address,
Correct.
so people can go there first and check out the season. That's great. Well, Ryan, we wish you best of luck. It looks like an amazing season for you and a gorgeous newly renovated space. So we look forward to
Thank you so
seeing
much for
what's on
having
the
me.
horizon. Thank you so much. When we come back, we'll talk with 2 local volunteer leaders about programs that offer free tax services for people with low or moderate income.
Introducing Ride on Flex, Montgomery County Department of Transportation's new on-demand transit service to help you get around and to find Rockville and Glenmont-Wheaton zones. Riding the Flex is easy. Download the Ride on Flex app, select your pickup and drop-off locations within the zone, and go to your pickup location, a corner near you, and you ride for $2 or less. Visit rideonflex.com for service areas and hours of operation.
Get there faster. Ride On has a new Route 129 limited stop service running along US 29 corridor. There are convenient park and ride lots along the route where parking is free, getting cars off the road, reducing congestion, which can decrease commute time. Visit rideonbus.com to stay up to the minute with schedules, updates, or delays. The Route 129 limited stop service runs in both directions along US Route 29, just 15 stops from the Burtonsville Park and Ride to the Paul Sarbanes Silver Spring Transit Center with our regular fare of $2. Ride On. Get there faster.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. 2 local volunteer programs help people navigate tax preparation. My guests today are Ginny Kieswetter, District Coordinator of Senior Corps Retired Senior Volunteer Program, AARP Tax Aide Program, and Eduardo Mendez from Community Action Agency's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. That is a mouthful, folks.
It is.
Welcome to
Thank
you
you.
both. So tell us about these very important programs. They're a little bit different from each other. Jenny, you want to start?
Sure. The AARP Tax Aid Program is a volunteer, it's run by volunteers completely, and we focus on providing tax preparation and filing for quite a few people, primarily seniors who are low and moderate income. Last year we prepared about 4,500 tax returns, I believe.
Wow, that's great. And how about you, Eddie?
Yeah, so our program is actually under the Department of Health and Human Service Community Action Agency in Montgomery County. We did, last year we completed over 2,200 tax returns. Yep. So.
And
so what's the difference for you? What do you work with a larger age range? Shorter
Mostly
age range?
for us, for our program, we're mostly for Montgomery County residents only. It's a program because, majority of the people that work with us are volunteers, but we do have some county employees since we're under the Community Action Agency.
Okay.
And we have, it's primarily a seasonal based program. So volunteers who come to work for us start training in mid-January. We begin tax preparation for clients the first week of February. And then we are done, with the exception of some cleanup on tax day, April 15th.
Well, I understand that you're really ready to gear up for volunteers soon because you have people banging down the doors in no time for tax assistance. What do volunteers learn from you? What do they need to be skilled in beforehand?
We want people who are really good communicators, I think. I've said that we need people who are good with numbers or who love taxes, and a lot of people look at us in horror. But it isn't actually tax knowledge. We train our volunteers. First-year volunteers have what amounts to 5 full days of training because they are required to pass tests that are from the IRS. So they are trained and certified. It's a very extensive training program. And our volunteers come in 3 varieties. We have tax counselors who are doing the tax preparation. We have schedulers who work in a scheduling office, helping clients make time into one of about 25 sites across the county. And we also have facilitators who are in the tax sites preparing the clients to meet with tax preparation.
Okay, so you need people who are skilled and work well with people, good communicators.
Absolutely.
And the best way to reach you all is what? Is there a phone number to reach you? I know the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program number is 240-777-1123. And the Senior Corps RSVP program?
I think the best way to find us as both a volunteer and a client is to Google, actually. If you Google Montgomery County Volunteer Center, there's a link right there where you can sign up to get more information to be a volunteer.
Terrific.
And it's also got information for clients on how to reach the scheduling office.
Okay, so the RSVP program has its own link and people can go right there to find out more
I think
information.
that's probably the easiest way to do it. Our website isn't going to be up until November 1st.
Okay.
And that's when everything opens up for us.
Okay, for us, you can email us, vita@montgomerycountymd.gov. We do have a website. Our program's a little different because we're year-round. So from January to tax day, we're doing taxes. From June to October 31st, yesterday I was doing taxes for somebody else.
Wow.
So we're still doing taxes.
So you need volunteers, you need skilled volunteers, and
who are really good communicating with our clients.
Terrific.
Absolutely.
Well, it's two very important programs for our community. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for
Thanks for having
inviting
us.
us.
We'll have you on again. Well, that's it for this month's Seniors Today. Don't forget that you can access this show and a great deal of information about county services for seniors by going to the Montgomery County Senior website at montgomerycountymd.gov/seniors or call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000. And as always, thank you for watching Seniors Today.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
For real?
Seriously?
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot Top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.